Yeah, cool. All right, so now we're going to throw around what is most important for an athlete. Going to kind of go two routes with this. An athlete just starting out in their first 90 days, and then we'll kind of circle back and we'll say an athlete who's been here for a year to 7 years, right? So a little bit different tracking. Some stuff will kind of intersect, but Abby, why don't you take us away with the athlete in their first 90 days?
Sure. I think it's important to come as much as possible. You just put in that time with one of us going through the on-ramp and learning all these movements that maybe you've never experienced before, the Olympic lifting, and then even so much as a burpee if you've just never gone through that and worked through, done that on your own or at another place. But it's just coming as much as possible and absorbing what we offer here, the coaching, the community, and the friendships. It's like the whole picture, just getting as much as you can within the first 30, 60, and 90 days.
I would say only look around the room during the warm-ups and workouts if you are looking for guidance or for inspiration. The worst thing you can do when you're first starting is looking at everybody else and comparing yourself, wondering how come you aren't moving the bar that well or you can't do that weight yet. I know when I first started, I was guilty of it. I would be so wrapped up in what other people might be thinking of me, even though nobody's watching you, that I wouldn't focus on getting better. I wouldn't put 100% into myself. So the most important thing that I think you can do is, as hard as it is, just put all your focus into yourself and only use others as a point of inspiration.
Cool. Yeah.
To circle off of Abby's with like the showing up, find like that class, like and committing to that, and then within that class, maybe like finding like, at least one person to kind of like latch yourself onto, or like, I think it's inevitable where like you kind of get to know everybody in that class. But a great example of it is like Beth, who came in at 6:15, and like how like they just nurtured her and how everybody's so welcoming. It's like find a group of people. 'Cause we're a lot of different personalities, a lot of different groups in here. But maybe it was a lot more fun when you have like that group to work out with, and there's somebody to kind of like help you along the way for the first 90 days. With having fun and yelling things in the locker room, which we're being on camera. Yeah.
This I know applies to everyone, but being on time, showing up to the class. So say if it's a 10 o'clock class, you're here, at least 2 minutes or so beforehand. That way, when the coach starts the class, you hear the entire briefing of the workout, what we're doing that day, the adjustments, so that you know sort of like what you're going to be doing that day, versus maybe coming in a little late and you don't know exactly what you're doing, don't know really the movements, although we do go over them, but just making sure that you're on time so you get to hear that whole beginning of the class is important.
Cool. And I think two things to kind of conclude, because those are all great points, is at the end of each class, like, seek out at least one thing that you did that was good. There'll always be something that was good, right? So you kind of reinforce that you're learning, that you're growing, you're moving in the right direction, because there's always going to be something good within that workout, within that hour that had happened. And have fun, right? Have fun. Like, you have to, that kind of full circles into what everybody said, is enjoying the process. There's going to be days that it's a lot more challenging and a lot more fun, different spectrums, but in the end, we're getting fit, we're doing it a personal journey alongside others, and it's a good time.
Word. Really?
So now we're going to talk about what's most important for an athlete a little bit more seasoned. They've been here for a year, up to 7 years, so they've got some time under their belt now. Elena, why don't you take us off?
Be on time. Besides that...
Looking at you, Fleeto.
Besides that, I think if you're, like I said, a more seasoned athlete and you see new athletes walking in the door, it's their first class or one of their first classes, go up to them, introduce yourself, make them feel at home here, get to know them a little bit, and just make them feel comfortable, because we've all been in that situation where it's our first class, or we're walking in here for the first time, and that's very nerve-wracking. So they're in that same boat right now. So just going up to them, being friendly, saying hi, mingle a little bit, and that's just gonna, I know, make their day, make them feel a little more comfortable walking in here for maybe the first few times.
Yeah, going off Alina, like even when we partner up, like maybe like take on that new member, and it's going to be just enhance their experience when they know that a veteran, again, like 1 to 7 years of just like being like, hey, partner up, we have to go through a warm up together or the workout together. It's just that it just betters that experience for them, because nobody wants to be in the corner with the last one being picked for dodgeball.
I would say to make sure you participate in all the different things that we do outside of working out, whether it's the coaches comp, the internal open competition that we're doing right now. We did the Christmas cards, Thanksgiving dinner, things like that. We want to be so much more than just a place to work out. And even if you've been here for 7 years and you're like, yeah, I've done those things already, having you and all these people together is what makes this such a special place, and making sure that everybody participates is what makes those events that more special.
It's gonna bring a damn tear to my eye, Jen.
I'm going to go more the coaching route, and I think of myself and these guys as well. No matter the experience, always be a student, always be open-minded to learning, to improving, to getting better. None of us know it all, even us coaches. Just because I know how to squat snatch, I could learn something from any of my coaches or my team teaching me a class in that to improve me, right? So always aim to move well and always be a student open to learning.
You took mine. Damn it. I think because once we get past that 1 year mark, we start looking maybe for things like higher skills like muscle ups and snatching more and some more advanced things. Being willing to take a step back, slow down a little bit and do maybe some the smaller, maybe sometimes not as sexy things to really push those things forward. And maybe sometimes it means scaling a workout, to make sure you get that stimulus, or doing some extra stuff on the side. It can be simple, like the high pulls we were talking about, just maintenance stuff like that. That's the stuff that will really push you and get you the skills you want, and the strength that you want, and when it comes to open time, the performances that you want. So